So real quick, guys, we're gonna mention a couple different things tonight, and we're gonna try to put it in the comments. So I'm gonna have Tony type in a few things so you guys can catch it either as we go. You can write it down or something, or you can go back later after we're done and then watch it again and just follow the notes. So a couple different things that we're gonna mention today. So we have 9. All right, well, I guess let's get going. So hello, how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday, happy Trail Tuesday. So I'm here with Tony. How you doing, Tony?
Hi everyone, I'm great, thank you.
All right, so this is something that we, well, I personally didn't want to talk about on social media, but since it's kind of, I see a lot of people asking questions and kind of feeling a certain way about it, Tony decided, you know what, let's touch on that. Let's give a little talk about it. So here we are. So today we're gonna talk about everything that's going on about the whole coronavirus thing, the what's it called, COVID-19, right? So let's see, we have more people joining. All right. So again, for those that missed it and everybody else joining right now, we're gonna mention a couple little things, and we're gonna have Tony put it in the comments so that if you want to just write it down or go back and look into it later, you can. So what are the things that you heard, Tony? Little myths that you've been hearing every day for the last week.
Well, I think one of the most disappointing things that I've heard in the last week is, I guess, all of the xenophobia and all of the racism following this virus that's going around, because of the fact that it originated in China. And I've seen quite a few horror stories on the internet and on the news of people mistreating people of Asian descent, and almost blaming them for all the catastrophe that's going on in the world at the moment. But you know, unfortunately,
So Hector,
that's not really the case.
yeah, I mean it's at this point is a global issue. It's a global problem. It's not something that we have to sit here and blame this person, that person, none of that. So that's another reason again why we wanted to. I didn't want to spread any more than what we already hear in my personal social media page and all that. But again, it's something that it's inevitable for us to talk about, and Tony wanted to bring it up, and we actually had a few people talk to us about it over the page and everything. So we're like, you know what, I guess, yeah, we got to talk about it. So first thing I want to say is, don't get caught up in the negative aspect of things. You have to find out the information. So you're gonna hear constantly a lot of different things in the news, the media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. It's super easy for anybody to use social media in a negative way to start spreading fear, right? So, but the best thing that I'm gonna tell you tonight I'm not gonna tell you do this, don't do that. I'm not gonna say go outside, don't go outside. What I want you guys to focus on is to doing your own research and finding your information. Again, like I've been saying from day one since we started doing Trail Talk Live, I'm not expert on anything. I don't have all the answers. I don't have info, but the whole point of this is to point you in the right direction, or at least in a direction, so that you can find out more info and so that you can get exposed to all this information that is out there. Because again, just like I tell you all the time, what works for me might not work for Tony. What works for Tony might not work for me, might not work for anybody else out there. So I'm gonna give you a couple different resources of information so that you can go and check and stay up to date in a good way, so that you know what to look for, so you know what you can do. Okay, so it's I don't know where the whole toilet paper thing came from. I don't know. I don't know how that got started. I don't know who started that. But that right there shows us that we're not prepared for this. So we live in California, Southern California. A lot of people that join us for our events, for the runs and all that, they live in the area. We have other people, different places, different states, but being California natives, we are supposed to be prepared for some disaster, right? We live in a area that we are susceptible to earthquakes. And what does that mean? That means you should have a lot of supplies, not necessarily, have to store supplies at home, but you should have, right, some supplies. You should have extra water. You should have some food that can get you by for a few days, right, in case something happens. You should have, essentials. You should have gas in your car at all times. You should have all these little things. You should have a set of clean clothes, all those things, right, that we are now being exposed, that we are not prepared for all these things. So that's why you see all these people just running to the stores freaking out, fighting over toilet paper, fighting over this, fighting over that, because when you're not prepared and something happens, all of a sudden it's like panic mode. And that's what we're here for. We're here to tell you, you know what, it's not a time to panic. Hey, what's up, Caesar? It's not a time to panic. It's a time to reevaluate if you are prepared for something or not. And, again, the people that you see freaking out, the people that you see like obsessed and like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I going to do? Those are the people that are not informed, that are not prepared. And that is my message for today. Please get yourself some information. Please get prepared. And, it is what it is, and we're going to get through it. So stay positive and, get yourself ready for whatever it is we need to face. This is not new. This is not a new thing. We in the United States are 2 to 3 weeks behind the whole virus thing. If you look at what's happening overseas, that's kind of where we're heading, right? And we're trying to avoid heading as much as possible into exactly what's happening there. But this is not new. The whole corona thing is not new. This is the third type of the coronavirus. It's something that has happened before, and we have a bunch of different types of viruses and illnesses that can cause this type of damage. But again, because we're not prepared, because we sometimes neglect to think, this can happen, that can happen, and all of a sudden something happens, that's when we tend to panic and freak out. So I'm gonna point you to a couple of different places where you can check for information. So first off, if you have any sort of radio that has XM satellite radio, if you tune to channel 121, even if you're not subscribed to XM radio, you can download the app on your phone or your computer or anything. So XM radio channel 121, they have a live 24/7 stream with scientists and doctors and biologists from NYU, from New York University, that are constantly updating this. So you can, again, if you're not subscribed, if you're in your car or whatever, you can go to channel 121. And this is people that are working on this. This is not just people on social media posting stuff or repeating something, or the news channel just trying to get you to like stay glued to the TV or to click on something or to watch it later. These are people that are with boots on the ground per se, right? Working on this, doing the research. Also, PubMed. A lot of people are familiar with PubMed, a lot of people are not. So, real simple, go to Google, type PubMed, and then that'll take you to the website. And then you can see PubMed is a hub for a lot of research information from biologists, from scientists from all over the world. So a lot of times, a lot of research papers, they get published there. So that is a place where you want to get your information from the people that are working on these things, the people that are like trying to figure out, okay, this is the cause, this is what happens, this is what we need to do, which at this point we don't know. We don't know what we need to do. And so if anybody's telling you, okay, this is gonna work, and, oh, just do this and you're good, that's not the case. And if you listen to a couple of the people I'm gonna point you to listen to, they'll tell you the same thing. And if you if you get a little intimidated by the terminology and all that, you can just go back to Google and check, okay, what are you talking about? But you know what? There's one doctor that I've been following for the last couple of years that he has been posting a lot of information, a lot of updates on Instagram. And his name is Peter Attia. So we're gonna try to mention his profile right here so you can go back. So over the last week, he's been posting a lot of updates on Instagram. So if you go to his profile and you go and look at the IGTV videos that he's been posting, he has a lot of great information. And he also encourages people to ask questions, so that this guy has a whole team and he has a lot of colleagues working on this. So if you have any question, just you can go and shoot the question, and they're getting hundreds, thousands of questions. So what they're doing is, when they see the same question a few times, those are the ones that they're trying to answer in the live. So this guy has a lot of connections, a lot of people that he has access to. People that are literally working with other scientists, biologists, people overseas that are bringing the information up to date. The information is changing every single day. It's constantly getting updated. So if you watch all the the IGTV videos that he's posted, he'll tell you in every video that it's gonna change, and that whatever he said last Thursday, last Friday, might be different now. So that is one great resource. If you also follow Peter Hotez, so if you want to watch it, you can do a quick Google search, Peter Hotez. That's another person that he also had in his podcast that are doing all the work that is actually creating all the information and all the stuff that we need to translate to the public, and passing all that information to the authorities that are in charge of making decisions. Another name I'm gonna throw out there is Paul Greenwald. That's another person that is part of Peter Attia's team that is appointed to doing research, and they actually did 2 podcasts. They did one. If you go to Peter Attia's profile, you'll see the link to his podcast. So yesterday and 2 days ago, they recorded and they posted 2 different podcasts, and they're about an hour long each, and they're talking about all these things. So they're talking about the details of the virus, and also they're talking about what is actually realistic to do going forward and what to expect. Again, if you're scared, if you're freaking out, it's because maybe you don't have the information and you don't know what to expect, right? So if it's something that we're not prepared for, just like an earthquake, if we're not prepared for it and it happens, then that's when we start panicking, freaking out. So again, the whole point of today is that, bring you some hope and bring you some positivity, so you're not panicking, freaking out. So what else do you have, Tony? I'm gonna give you a lot more information. So this is just the beginning, but I want to let Tony give us a little positive energy as well. So I'm gonna mention this a couple more times so that he can type it in there. So if you didn't catch it, you can catch it, or you can get a notepad ready, or whatever you want to do, right? So,
all right. So, first of all, thank you everyone who is watching wherever you may be, whether you're in LA, Ventura County, California, the United States, or somewhere else in the world. Thank you so much, especially to our international viewers. I know we actually do get a couple every live, so thank you. Right now is a very scary time, not just in the United States, but across the entire world, especially places like Italy, France, Spain, and some South American countries that are starting to get hit by the coronavirus. A lot of countries, a lot of cities, a lot of states are going into basically lockdown, much like Italy has, and much like the Bay Area has. So with that said, I know that a lot of you guys are so driven to run and work out in a social setting, and it's definitely going to be a huge burden for all of us who are used to having someone to run with or having a group to run with, to be able to get into the mindset that we not only have to do it alone, but we should do it alone. So there's a lot of sources on the web right now, whether it be YouTube or whether it be Instagram. Just to name a couple of accounts, Midnight Runners, they've been doing live workouts so that anyone can tune in and follow along with them. I'll go ahead and mention them right now.
Yeah, mention them real quick.
If you don't already follow them, it's at Midnight Runners.
Yeah. Hi, Jaggy. I see Jaggy out there.
Just like it sounds.
Thank you.
There are also other fitness accounts that you can follow. I won't get into any more specifics because there's tons of them on YouTube as well. So even though you're not able to get to the gym, you can still do a 20 to 30 minute workout every single day in your living room or in your room with very little space and no equipment. If you have any need for a little inspiration, just reach out to either one of us directly and we can send you some of the workouts that we do. Today during my lunch, I wanted to go to the gym, but unfortunately all gyms are closed. So I have the privilege of working 5 minutes away from home. So I went home and did a 30-minute workout and went right back to work. So the most important thing that we can all do right now to expel all of the energy that we're going to have pent up inside is just move.
Yes,
and you don't have to go outside to move. So any little workout that you can do at home is going to help. And honestly, the healthier and the more fit you are, the least susceptible you are to this virus and then ultimately disease.
Yes.
I am not going to tell you whether or not you should be going outside to run or not. That is going to be solely your decision, and it's going to be based on the local guidelines for the area that you're in. If you're in a city that is very heavily impacted by the coronavirus, you may want to consider whether or not you actually want to go out and run on the street and on the road or on the trails. Most places, in fact including Italy and the Bay Area, are okay with you going outside and getting your exercise done. So if it were me, I would probably go out and run and probably hit the trails rather than the roads, just because of the fact that you're probably less likely to see
less
people
saturated, a little more open air
on the trails and on the roads. However, ironically enough, our trails have actually been more polluted lately than usual.
Yes.
I guess just because of the fact that people really want to get outside now more than ever. But if you do have to run on the road, that's okay. I would say just wash your hands immediately after you're done running, especially if you are touching buttons on crosswalks or guardrails or anything that's foreign to you, anything that you didn't yourself go outside with. If you're touching it, you should probably wash your hands as soon as possible. If you do happen to run into other pedestrians on the sidewalk, most local guidelines are going to tell you to just try to get as far away from them as you can as you're passing them, because there is research that suggests that even so much as passing someone as they're breathing out or coughing and they're carrying that virus could put you at risk of becoming infected. I don't know really, actually no one knows how true that is at the moment, but there is research to suggest it.
That's one thing I want to touch on, but yeah. What else you have?
Next to that, one thing that I've noticed in my town at the moment, I live in Simi Valley, so does Gus. It's a very small town, even though it may seem big. Everyone knows each other, everyone sees each other. I counted them. We actually only have about 10 main streets in our town, which is really not anything at all. So you can really tell the impact in our town of this isolation that people are already doing. Businesses are totally dead. The streets are empty. The town is just totally quiet. And it's really inspired me to want to support our local businesses and our local restaurants as much as possible. I actually work in a local business. I work at a local Toyota dealership that is privately owned. It's not corporate, so we're feeling the effects of the unfortunate recession that we're going into. It's not an opinion, that's just a fact, unfortunately. So anything that you can do to support your local businesses, whether it's your favorite restaurant or even your liquor store around the corner, your mom and pop butcher shop or grocery store, I would choose them first over going to McDonald's or Vons.
A lot of our friends are also like small business owners. Like a lot of them, they have a little side hustle or something, right? Some type. So a lot of you know what we're talking about as well. So
yeah, it's very unlikely that McDonald's, for example, will ever go out of business. At this point, they are absolutely too big to fail. But let's say your favorite small burger joint, they could. They're totally at risk of it, especially with having to close and go takeout only. That means that there's now someone who is going to be either working drastically less hours or not working at all. So anything that you can do to help your local community is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, don't forget, whatever money you spend in your community is going to come back around in the community, right? So that's what sustains the same community that you live in. So
now, Gus and I kind of started talking about this going back to maybe a week or two before LA Marathon. That's when things really started coming to light in the United States. And actually since then, I kind of started reading up on the effects that this could have on our economy, local, state, and US and global. So since then, I've actually tried to be as diligent as possible about saving my money. There were actually a couple races that I was this close to registering for and signing up for, but something in my gut told me, you know what, don't do it yet.
Just wait.
Wait another week, even if it's going to cost you $10 more to register because the price is going to go up. Just wait. And I'm glad I did, because unfortunately those races that I was planning on registering for are now both postponed. Hopefully not canceled altogether, just postponed for now. But let's say those $120 or $300 that I would have spent on registering for those races, only to have the money go to Ultra Sign Up and just sit there however many months.
Yeah, exactly.
Is better kept in my pocket, in my bank account, for whatever may come up in the next month or 2 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
who knows?
This is something that's gonna have effects like for the rest of the year. It's not just gonna go away in a couple of weeks.
So, that's just a common sense advice. None of us know what's going to happen. The president doesn't know. The governor doesn't know. Your mayor doesn't know. We don't know. So because of the economic uncertainty, I would definitely recommend to save up a few bucks here and there. Any dollar that you don't have to spend, don't spend it. I know that's kind of hard, but I think it'll be just that much easier with the fact that everyone is isolating right now and not really going out. Bars are shut down, restaurants are takeout only, events are being canceled. Don't use that as an excuse to go into retail therapy instead.
Which can be a downward spiral.
A lot of you guys may have seen earlier that I posted that I'm in the market for new road shoes, which I actually am, and I've gotten to the point now where I really need them because I've needed shoes probably for about 3 or 4 months now. But I'm gonna probably still spend the money on that just because in order for me to be able to go outside and run and enjoy it, I need shoes. But I'm gonna definitely make sure that I do a little bit of research and get the best
Carbon X. Gary, I've been looking at the Carbon X online all week since last week.
So going back to all these races and group runs and events being canceled, the biggest thing that we can do right now is support our local running shops, our local running groups, and our local race directors, because unfortunately the truth of the matter is that it was not their choice to cancel any of the races or any of the events that were coming up. Most of the cancellations are actually brought upon the governing agencies that issue the permits to the race directors. Hey, it's for our own good, whether we believe that or not. It sucks because a lot of us have spent months training for certain events, like let's say Boston, or the upcoming Santa Clarita 50K, which we were actually both looking forward to running, or other major marathons around the world. Now even the Olympics are in jeopardy, which unfortunately I hate to say it, but the truth of the matter is that they probably will not happen this year.
They were talking about maybe postponing it for like 2 years or something, because that's kind of like what Diana was telling me. That's the cycle. Literally that takes Olympians to train, to prepare for the actual Olympic Games, about 2 years.
And the biggest thing that we can do is be understanding and supportive, because at the end of the day, every race director who's had their event canceled is also a business owner who needs our help. Races don't happen for free. Obviously you pay for them, but the race directors pay for them as well. And
most of you watching know this because you're part of the community, right? We are in a community that it's actually really tight, and a lot of us volunteer sometimes, a lot of you guys volunteer sometimes, so you know how this works. We don't have to get into the details, you already know, but just to mention that is also a small business that somebody has that is going to get affected by it. So some of these races getting canceled, some of these events, I know it sucks, I know a lot of us were looking forward to, but it is what it is. So it's not, it's for our own good, so just don't have a negative attitude about it. It is what it is. As it is, without virus, we come in contact with a lot of people out there when we're doing a race, whether we are conscious about it or not. We do. All the volunteers, the other runners, everybody out there. So don't take it the wrong way. It's all for our own good. So
there's a lot of running shops like Run With Us or Fleet Feet who are also being impacted by this. Run With Us host weekly run on Mondays that brings in a lot of runners into the store. same way that Fleet Feet does their Wednesday runs. Again, brings a lot of runners into the store, runners who spend their money and keep the store open for everyone else to be able to go in whenever they need something.
Yes.
So, you know, whenever these stores do open back up, if there's something that you've been eyeing that, you know, you maybe have the money saved up and you want to buy right now, but you don't actually really need it right now, especially since there's not a whole lot of races going on, I would say save your money, you know, wait a few weeks until these stores are back up and running. Not all of them are closed. I know Run With Us is open. Fleet Feet at the moment is closed, but you know, go in there and buy it from them if you can, rather than buying it from either Amazon or any of the other online retailers.
Well, some of them are doing it by appointment, right? Like, so,
Yeah.
so you can call them, email them, okay, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I need, and do the communication, right? Like, oh, okay, you know, we have whatever shoe you're looking for, whatever size, you know, okay, I'm looking at this and looking at that. Some of them are doing everything they can. They're getting very creative, actually, to accommodate all those things.
Yeah.
They can ship it to you. They can drop it off different places, different locations. They can have you, okay, be here tomorrow at 3 or 4, whatever it is, right? So everybody's doing their part. So, you know, it's just about adapting to the situation. So not, you know, not freaking out, not panicking, not like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, or do this, do that. It's, you know, it is what it is, and let's make the best of it. We're going to get through it. That's the main thing. We're going to get through it. And, you know, we just got to adapt. And again, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling some type of way, it's okay. The more information you know, the better you can make decisions whenever you face, you know, some type of challenge that you may have in the next week, or maybe you already haven't. You know, if you work at a place that is being shut down or might get shut down for a few days, you know, again, if you have a plan, if you have the information, then you kind of know what to expect, and then there's no need to freak out. If you're fortunate enough to have one of these, now's the time to use it. You know? A lot of times we get them and we don't even use them. We just, you know, hang the towels on them, or a bunch of clothes or shoes or whatever. Well, hey, there it is, you know. If you don't have one, there's a lot of things you can do, and I'm gonna get into that, but I want to make sure Tony gets all the stuff he wants to mention. I have a lot of notes for you guys, and we're gonna go over it for all those that just tuned in. So I have a bunch of stuff I want to share with you guys, and we're gonna mention it. So what else you have?
So because we're a community, there are different groups and different crews, different clubs, different cliques, whatever you want to call them. In the area that we live in, we're in Southern California, so groups like Night Terrors, Midnight Runners, Anytime Runners, Blacklist, etc., who are still hosting runs. And again, it's going to be really up to you whether you think it's a good idea to visit those runs, those group runs, and attend them, because it's a very sensitive subject whether you should or should not be out. But you know, one thing that I actually heard Dr. Peter Attia say is that the social distancing is the biggest factor in being able to contain the growth and the spread of this virus in the United States. But not everyone has the ability or the capacity to be able to distance himself socially or go into isolation, for whatever reason that may be. So if you find yourself close to a group that's still hosting a group run and you want to attend, you know, do your research and figure out for yourself whether that's actually going to be a good idea or not. Especially not just for yourself, but for the people that surround you day to day. So I'll give you an example. My mom actually works in a senior living facility. She's a nurse there. The facility has actually asked all of the staff to distance themselves as much as possible, and go into isolation to their best ability. not only themselves, but also their families. Because let's say I go out and get the virus and I give it to my mom, who then is going to go to work and give it to many people who are at super high risk and very vulnerable. It could be bad news, and that could prematurely end a lot of lives. So it's really going to be solely up to you how far you want to take it and what it means to you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So now that brings me to another point, which is, okay, so again, I'm gonna start mentioning a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have Tony put it in the comments so you guys can check it out. So you wanna type this website right there. So one of the websites from Peter Hotet is actually a public website. It's not his personal one, but it's sedrap.umn.edu. So they have a lot of information there about a lot of different viruses. So it's not just exclusively for coronavirus, but that's one website. Again, if you missed it, XM satellite radio. If you have a card that has XM radio, even if you're not subscribed to it right now, XM has assigned channel 121 to have 24/7 updated information coming from NYU. That's the New York University. And these are actual doctors, biologists, scientists that are doing research and publishing information, relaying information, like the latest information comes from labs and all these places from the people that are actually working on this. So this is not something out of Facebook, something that, my auntie or my uncle told me, like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. This is the people actually working on this. Those are the people that I want you to get information from. A lot of the times, unfortunately, the media, the news channels, they keep throwing all this updated information just to keep you watching, just to keep you on the loop. So maybe half of it is accurate and the other half might be outdated. We don't know everything there is to know about this. This is a new type of virus. Corona is not new. The type of virus is new. So we have limited information on this. And by we, I mean Tony, I mean the scientists.
The world.
The world. So this is being updated daily. So a lot of the practices, a lot of the things that they're finding out today, a week from today might not be the case. A week from today, they might be saying, oh, you know what? We told you to do this last Thursday, last Tuesday. Don't do it. You know what? We discovered this and this and this, because there's constant testing 24/7 and constant info coming out from all the scientists and everybody working on this, not just here, but overseas. Again, remember, we are about 2 to 3 weeks behind the wave. So whatever's happening here already happened overseas, already happened in other countries. Australia already happened in China. So we are behind. Now that is one fault that, we'll have time later to see whose fault it was or all that, of not taking the necessary measures ahead of time, of waiting until something happens. Just like all the people that are freaking out at the store buying all the toilet paper is because they're not prepared. They're misinformed or not prepared or just not informed at all. So this is what the whole point of today's is. Now, one thing I want to mention is don't get scared every time you hear the news. Again, this is just a trick for the media to keep you in the loop. Don't get scared if tomorrow you hear the number of cases increase and then the next day it double and then the next day it triple. That's gonna happen. Again, if you have the information, you know it's gonna happen. You know all these numbers of cases are gonna double, triple from now to next week, because one, we didn't have a readily available test kit all over the place. So a lot of the times, all these people are getting tested is only if they have like really, really bad symptoms. So we're not just testing anybody right now. There is not a drive-through that you can go yet and just get tested real quick, or like a pregnancy test that you can just grab and test. So you're gonna hear all these numbers going way up before they come down. So that's one thing that I want to tell everybody. Don't get freaked out every time you hear, oh, this happened, that happened, that happened. If you go to the places I'm telling you and do your own research, look for your information, then you're gonna know what to expect, right? So we had rain for the past week, right? The past week over here. So let me try to contrast this to the rain. So we're runners, and it's raining, so you know, right? If it's raining and you want to go for a run, you go outside, you're gonna take all the precaution, measures that you want to take. You're gonna wear a jacket, you're gonna wear maybe different pants, you're gonna wear a hat, whatever. But you know you're gonna get wet, right? You know what to expect. You know you're gonna get wet no matter how much you get ready and prepare yourself. Same thing, okay? So just find some info. Just let's see, we have some more people joining. Find some information, do your own research. Again, from the people that are doing the work and actually looking into this. Not from Facebook, not from your uncle, from your cousin, from your aunt, not from, again, even from work, right? They only relay certain things, and don't forget, sometimes different people have different motives. So do your own research and follow the people that are actually doing the work that it's gonna take for us to get better. A lot of these tests we don't have right answers to. So I heard yesterday, Period T, I mentioned that we had only tested up to date since we started testing about 50,000 people, and that's across the whole United States. We should be testing 50,000 a day, not overall in the last 2 weeks. Another thing that they don't know is so far is they don't know, once you catch the virus, they don't know where the virus sits in the body. When they test it, they can test it right at your nose and then realize, okay, you have it or you don't. But that information, where, in which organ, which part of your body the virus is sitting, nobody knows yet. So that goes to show you we're learning as we go. Let me see. Okay, so the measures that are getting thrown out there. So it's wash your hands and sanitize as much as possible. But again, all these things I'm gonna mention right now, those are things that you should already be doing in your daily. Maybe a little more right now, but honestly, these are basic stuff that you should already be doing, especially if you have the type of job or the type of community or activity, right, that you do on your daily, that you come in contact with a lot of people or a lot of different stuff. So for example, the whole washing your hands thing, my job, I come in contact with a lot of people every day and a lot of items like doors, for example, and a lot of different tools and stuff like that. So I'm constantly washing my hands. Now, I've been doing it a little more now and maybe longer, right? So washing your hands is not just like, okay, bye. Now, right now, you want to be a little bit more meticulous about washing your hands. That's the difference. But you should already be doing all these things. Another thing is I want to mention real quick before we time out, because we might time out. If we do, we might have to cut and restart it, because I got
13 minutes left.
Yeah, I want to pass all these notes to you guys. So if you work in an office environment, keep your area clean. Don't share your personal items, your pen. If you work in a type of job or in an area where people come and go, and maybe you're having to sign stuff, you don't want to like share your pen and then that pen gets shared with this person, that person, that person. Just have a bunch of pens. If you use it to sign, then that's it. It's yours. Don't bring it back. Little things. Your personal items, your phone. For example. When's the last time you cleaned your phone, Tony?
I can't answer that.
Thank you. Yeah, I clean my phone every morning, actually, when I step out of the shower. But have I been a little bit more meticulous in the last week about getting some sanitizer, throwing it in a paper towel, and actually wiping my phone with it? Yes, I have. So that's another idea. You touch all kinds of stuff, doors, doorknobs, door handles all the time, and then what do? We go grab our phone. So that's something that you want to be diligent about. What else? Overall, the main thing is you might be a high risk of catching something simply because you might be in an area, again, a job or your community might have a lot of cases reported, so you might be exposed to a little more. But another thing that is not 100% confirmed at this point is the modes of transmission. So we know airborne, that's the main one, but also this virus can survive outside of the body for hours. So if you go, I'm actually gonna repost the latest IGTV video from Pediatria. So he talks about surfaces. There's a new research paper that came out 2 days ago from England that they talk about how long the virus lives on different surfaces, and that goes airborne, and that also they also cover wood, metal, all kinds of surfaces. And he talks about it a little bit in the latest IGTV video he posted today, I believe, or last night, I think. So that's why I want to refer you guys to that. Let's see what else. So overall, what's recommended, not just for today, there's some stuff that you should already be doing before. So just being more healthy and being, again, all these things that we're not doing maybe on a daily, but right now we want to be a little more diligent about. So looking for ways to boost your immune system. So whatever things that we know we should be doing right now is probably the time to be a little more diligent. So that goes eating better, eating a healthier diet, not so much fast food, more whole food, more stuff that you know what it is, not just something that you pulled out of a box or a wrapper with a bunch of different ingredients that you can't even pronounce. You should already be doing that, but right now is the time to make sure you're a little more diligent about sleep. That's one way that your immune system gets boosted and it stays well. The more you sleep, the less sick you get. So you should be doing that. But also right now, again, this is probably a time to be a little more diligent about that. Drinking a lot of water. Again, I don't have to tell you how important it is. And one thing that was mentioned that maybe we don't think about is to relax and reduce the stress. So if I'm over here just talking to Tony, you're like, Tony, don't go outside, don't do this, don't do that, go sit in a corner, put on your hoodie, stay there, you're gonna get infected. That extra stress I'm adding to Tony's life and to my life and all that makes you more vulnerable. Your immune system takes a hit because your nervous system is actually getting beat up. So if I'm having altercations with Tony and trying to make him feel good and this and that, and then I'm not sleeping, and then I'm nervous, and then I'm looking at social media, and then my cousin posted this and my cousin posted that, and like, oh my God, all those things actually make you way more susceptible to, getting sick, period. Forget this virus, just period. So all those things you want to make sure that you reduce, especially at this time, right? Hello. Let's see.
Actually, going back to what he just said, to kind of relate it to the way that Gus and I train, which is mostly by heart rate. Okay. There's a doctor who actually developed the training method that we follow, Dr. Phil Maffetone.
Yes.
That would actually consider stress or any mental health issue that you might be having, whether chronically, permanently, or just in that moment, to be considered an injury. So
Yes.
as a runner, if you're injured, whether it be physically, emotionally, mentally, or
Nice.
chemically, it's going to impact not just your training and your fitness, but also your health, which again, if your health is compromised, you're gonna be at a higher risk to contract COVID-19.
And just any illness, period. Forget just this, but just any illness, period. So if you're somebody that's constantly getting sick, that constantly has the sniffles, that constantly gets headaches, that constantly is hurting, those are signs that your immune system is weak. And again, I just mentioned all the things that you can do to boost your immune system, especially in these times where it's a lot more critical. So more sleep, a lot more water, reduce your stress. You know what, Tony? If you want to go outside, that's fine. You know, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and you do what you're gonna do. But I'm not gonna cause you more stress, like, and start arguing with you about that. So we are mentioning some of the stuff right here in the comments so that you guys can follow it or go back and try doing your own research, which is the only thing I'm gonna make sure I tell you today. Do your own research. I'm not gonna tell you don't go outside or dip yourself in latex and become become the green man from Sunny in Philadelphia. None of that. That is your choice, but that's only a choice that you can make if you have the right information. You can decide how much you want to expose yourself, how much exposure you're already getting in your daily life. Because look, I can shower myself and sanitizer all day long, but I am gonna come in contact with a lot of stuff that is either infected or was infected, or I can literally go try to cross the street, push a button, and then there is, so again, I'm gonna give you,
or just you having this conversation so close to me, because I could already have it,
and this is the
and
thing,
not even know it.
This is the thing, you can be asymptomatic from 4 to 10 days, and what that means is that you might have it and not have any symptoms. So you not necessarily coughing and runny nose and all the stuff, that the symptoms that are mentioned, that I'm not gonna get into because you already heard about them for the last 24/7 for the last 2 weeks in the news. But you can have the virus, you can have 4 to 10 days in you and not even realize it. So this is another reason why don't get freaked out, don't get panicked every time you hear the numbers go up and up and up. One, because we don't have testing, so there's a lot of people walking out there that have it and we just don't know. Two, another stat that I heard from a doctor, scientist Peter Hotez, I believe it was. This is a wave, so it's gonna go up and then down. So what that means is we are working to shutting down all these things here and there. We're working the whole purpose of that is to reduce how much people are getting infected. But the virus is gonna stick around for a few months. It's not gonna be just like, okay, we're good. All right. They said March 27, right? So okay, it's March 27. All right, we're good. Let's go back. Nah, it's something that's gonna stick around. And a lot of people have the perception that once the weather turns, once summer comes, the hot weather is gonna kill it. That's not the case. The previous coronavirus, which it was known more as SARS and MERS, those came from the Middle East, and the average temperature it's 110 degrees over there. So we don't know if that's gonna affect or not. Don't count on that. Don't think, oh yeah, summertime is coming and that's it, we're gonna be good. No, again, all these precautionary measures that you should already be doing, that's gonna count not just today, not just this week, but going forward. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, we had 3 minutes left. Should we stop it and restart it? What do you think?
I'll leave it up to you, but I'll just quickly say a couple last things from my perspective. So again, going back to the group runs, I'll leave it up to you whether you decide to join a group run or not. Most groups have actually been smart enough to just cancel all of their upcoming events or all of their regular weekday events, and are actually encouraging people, just like I am going to do, to go and do your own virtual run. So if your group meets, let's say, at 8 o'clock every Wednesday night, instead of you going to that meetup spot where you would normally hang out and go run, at that same time, just go out the door and go do it yourself, and know that everyone else that you would have ran with is out there doing it themselves as well, and do it in solidarity. Even though you're not together, you're still doing it together.
Okay, so we just got the countdown. So we got 2 minutes left, and I see that a lot of people are still watching. And actually, Angelica, she wants to hear a little bit more of my 3 pages that I have. So yeah, we'll cut it real quick, and then we'll just join us again. We'll restart it, and maybe for like another 10 minutes, just so I can run down my notes again and mention the information again, the websites and the doctors that have a lot of information. Again, I'm not going to tell you don't do this, don't do that, but I am going to point you in the direction where you can find all this information and make your own decision, right? So let's just go ahead and stop it, and please join us again for like another 10 minutes. All right, so we're going to cut it and then join us again, please. All right, we are back. Okay, so we had to cut it and restart it just because the timer, but this is important, so I want to make sure I share the information again. So while we get people watching again, I am going to have Tony type in the info. So again, XM satellite radio. If you have a radio in your car that has XM satellite radio receiver, and even if you don't have a subscription for it, you can tune in to XM channel 121, or you can download the app on your phone, your tablet, whatever you use. Channel 121, that is a live feed from NYU, and that is hosted by biologists, scientists, doctors, people that are actually looking at the research and all the information coming out. So they're updating it every single hour, every day. So that is one spot. The next one is PubMed. PubMed, that's where all the scientists and all these people publish their documents, the research, and everything that they're looking at, everything that they found today in the lab, everything they found yesterday. PubMed is where it gets published, and this is where a lot of other researchers and doctors and scientists go, so they can compare notes per se. So if Tony has notes like this and I have my notes, and we're in 2 different countries or different states, different time zones, we can go and compare notes and like, okay, I found this and this in my patient and he found it, so okay, so now we have a lead. So PubMed, and also there's a website, it's called SIDRAP. So I'm gonna have Tony type it in there, SIDRAP. So it's www.sidrap.umn.edu. So if you follow the notes, you'll see it. Excuse my accent. Okay. So again, the people that have a lot of information, a lot of colleagues, and a lot of friends that are able to share information with them are Peter Attia, Paul Saladino, Peter Hotez, and Paul Greenwald. I've been following these guys for, I don't know, at least the last couple of years, just because I like listening to all their information, all their podcasts and all that. Dr. Phil Maffetone as well. So please, I'm gonna repost a couple of their IGTV videos just so you guys can watch them. But Peter Attia has been posting videos for the last week, like probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes long, if you have any questions, you can shoot them to him. He has a whole team of people, and people are like probably at least 10 times smarter than me and Tony put together, working on this, doing research, looking at all the PubMed publications, all the papers, everything that's getting updated every single day, and trying to relay the latest information. Again, whatever you hear today might not be relevant a week from now, because this is something ongoing. This is something that's getting developed. So I'm gonna just run through my notes again. Do everything that you can do to protect yourself, to make yourself less vulnerable. That means washing your hands as often as possible, sanitizing your area. Don't share personal items like your cell phone, like your pen at work. If you go through a door, you know what to do after that, right? Wash your hands. You should already be doing all these things every day, but right now it's a little more critical. If you're gonna cough, if you're gonna sneeze, don't just blow it out, right? You want to cover yourself. We used to say, oh, cover with your hand, but actually the proper way, it's right here somewhere in your arm, something, right? Which again is just common courtesy. You should already be doing that, but in times like this, a little more critical. Now, one thing that I tell my close acquaintances, I guess, is to always be prepared for anything. And now we see how unprepared we are. That's why we see a lot of people freaking out at the store, buying everything, is because we're not prepared. Just like I mentioned earlier, we live in California, and this is earthquake area, so we know that we should have water, we know we should have supplies, we know we should have food, we know. So if you are gonna get stuck at home, this is why people are freaking out at the stores buying everything, because they don't know what's going on. So if they're getting stuck at home, now they need all these things that we should already have, right? I'm not saying prepare for 3 months supply, but at least have something, right? Something to get you by. And that also goes for your money, right? If you're prepared to stay home for 2 weeks or 1 week, maybe, you know what, maybe you might actually be like, okay, hey, I'm staying home for a week. I personally can tell you, I keep a list to do. Like, I can show you every week by week, stuff that I need to do. So honestly, if I'm stuck at home for 2 weeks, I have plenty of stuff to do. So I'm not gonna be against getting shut down or getting stuck at home for 2 weeks. So please think about what it is that you will be using your time with, instead of like, oh my god, freaking out over this or that. I mean, you can find so many things. I always tell my friends, everybody, when I sit here complaining, like, man, my day off went by so fast. I need 2 weeks to get everything done. I need to get done around the house, and then my to-do list, So just stay positive, enjoy time with people, just whatever it is, right? We live in the age of information, so whatever it is that you wanna look into, that you keep putting off, whatever movie you have that you like, oh, you know what, I want to watch this movie, I want to watch that. There's plenty to do. But more than anything, enjoy your life. Enjoy every day. Don't live in fear. I'm not saying go do this or don't do that, right? And yeah, just like Caesar says all the time, be better, right? So there's always something we can do. And you know what? One thing I heard one thing I heard yesterday on Miguel's podcast, the Savage Beans podcast, was that, actually I saw it on the news actually last night, is there is a community in Reno, I believe. There's the daughter and her friends, the mom, the daughter, and her friends. They actually started a service in their community. They started posting so they can find people that are maybe not safe to go outside. So I'm talking like people that have conditions like cancer, that maybe can't go outside, that maybe shouldn't be going outside, having contact with others. People over 65, 70 years old that normally take 2 hours for a simple trip at the store. And they actually started posting information so that they can volunteer to go to the store for them. So if Tony is off tomorrow, for example, and then my friend's grandmother needs this from the store, she can't go. It's not advisable that she's out there, right? But Tony can, so he's going to the store anyway. So they're helping each other. So instead of just sending your friends, oh my God, look at this, oh my God, maybe we can find different ways, right? So instead of like, hey, what's up, how you doing? Oh, okay, what did you do today? Oh, you know what, I solved the puzzle. Oh, I watched this movie. You should watch this movie. It's actually pretty good. It's on Netflix. Things like that. Yeah. Let's see, people are donating their time to do some shopping for others. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And look, if God forbid any of us gets infected or gets to that doesn't mean the worst, right? That doesn't mean you're gonna die. We hope not. And again, it's all about having information, being informed. What can you do? What are you gonna do? What are the steps? All those things. So again, going by the general statistic right now is that at least 50% of the U.S. population might get it by the end of the year. So that doesn't mean that we're all gonna die by the end of the year. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of people that has unfortunately passed away because of this, but the reason is that the suffocation and it affects other underlying conditions. So at this point, what you can do is just look for ways to boost your immune system, which you should have already been doing, but also again, just look for the information, look and see how much exposure you already have, how much exposure you're willing to put yourself through, and make an informed decision if you want to go outside, if you don't want to go outside, if you want to stay home. Right now, I don't think there's any job out there that if you call and say, I want to stay home because simply I don't feel comfortable being there, or I have tickle, I have a cough, and I have the sniffles, whatever it is, right? Just do whatever is going to make you feel comfortable, whatever is going to make you feel happy, whatever is going to give you the best chance to be stress-free, right? Because again, just like I told you guys earlier, that being stressed out about something, that brings your immune system all the way down. So if I'm here grinding Tony all day, don't go outside, don't go outside, don't do this, don't do that, Tony, I'm just stressing him out, and I'm stressing myself out. And then what? I'm not gonna sleep well. And we know that if you don't sleep well, then it's a whole roller coaster. If I'm over here stressing out Tony, I'm not gonna sleep well. If he's stressed out, he's not gonna sleep well. So what's gonna happen is the next day, when I wake up all tired, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go look for sugar. I'm gonna start drinking soda, drinking all kinds of juices, all kinds of frappuccinos, all the stuff that I'm not supposed to be drinking. And I'm gonna start eating everything in front of me. I'm gonna hit every drive-thru on the way home, and there it goes. So then what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get sick, right? So my immune system is gonna be compromised more than what it already is, and boom, there we go. So it's just a whole downward spiral, right? And I believe that's it. That's all we have for you guys. Yeah, just like Caesar just mentioned, pre and probiotics. Whatever is gonna help your immune system. That's another thing you can Google. Oh, how to improve immune system. Daily habits. A lot of things. So drink a lot of water. Somebody asked what we're drinking. We're drinking Topo Chico. That's our unofficial official drink for Trail Talk Live and for the Anytime Boys. Thank you everybody for watching. We went extra this time, but I think it's important. And if you guys have any questions, any comments, please send us a message. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Please share with whoever you think that can use the information, not just the live talk, but the information that we gave you. And again, you can go back 24 hours so you can take a note or something. And we are gonna put it on YouTube for you guys. We're gonna have Michelle do all that, just so that you guys can go back and watch it later. So again, XM, real quick, XM channel 121, PubMed, SIDRAP, and I'm gonna post a couple of the videos from a couple of doctors and scientists that I'm telling you to take a look at, so you can get some information. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sharing. Don't forget, if you go to YouTube and just search Anytime Runners, you'll see all the previous episodes, and we're gonna have this one uploaded as soon as possible for you guys. You know what? Do your best. Stay happy. Stay positive. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna get out there and run together. Hopefully at some point, right? So in the meantime, just do whatever you can, whatever you do. If you don't have a treadmill, you can always do jump rope. Jump rope is really good, not just for cardio, but actually it'll help you improve your form. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. So yeah. Anything else, Tony?
Stay positive, stay smiling no matter what. It's not easy for any of us. It's harder on others than it is even on us, probably, especially if you know someone who's already become susceptible to the infection. But hey, worse things have happened in this world.
Yes.
And unfortunately, worse things will happen again in this world. This is just adversity that I believe is truly actually going to bring the entire world closer together. Yes, and definitely create some more compassion that we as a people have been lacking. And really the biggest takeaway is do your own research, follow whatever guidelines are specific to where you live and the conditions that you live under, and just go with the flow. Yeah. Just be willing to adapt, because
we're the ultimate adaptive species. Ultimate adaptive species. No other species, whether it's a plant or an animal or anything, adapts the way humans do. Yeah. So don't lose hope.
And if you guys need any support or any inspiration or anything at all from us, please reach out. Just one last announcement before I hit end. Anytime Runners is working on coming up with a virtual challenge with a couple of the other groups, Mar Vista Running Club, and I think Pomona Valley Runners. We're working on coming up with a virtual challenge
to keep you guys entertained,
which we'll probably have developed and posted sometime by the weekend, so that Saturday and Sunday, if you're not already off from work, you can go out and start competing in it. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and again, if you have any questions, any comments, anything else that you want to talk about or mention, just let us know. Either message the page or message me, message Tony. You know what? We're in this together. We're all part of it, and don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Stay positive. Smile. Don't forget, the mind is like the most powerful thing known to mankind. So whatever you think, you can achieve. So I think that's it we have for tonight, guys. So thank you so much for joining us, and please share, and please take notes about the info. Go look for some info. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.